Okay, polarity. Because there's only 6 numbers in our physical world of creation, 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5, okay, which is a fact. Okay, in other words, in the third, with matter, there's only 6 numbers to work with. Okay, you don't have to worry about there being an odd number like that. When they try and do a positive, negative, and positive, negative, and when you get to 9, you're at a positive, and then you go back to 1, it's a negative. But you start with a positive, it doesn't work. Because there is not an odd system. The physical world of mass always has symmetry, always has parity, because it's an even amount. 6 is an even amount of number. Things are always done in pairs. Okay. So thus, but it's complicated. This is where quantum comes in. First of all, the center of the circle, and I'm just teaching you guys how to be prepared to make this into the next chart, and there's another chart behind here. And there's many charts over here. Okay, so this is called the legend. This is God's schematic. It's the blueprint. Once you learn the math in this, then you start doing calculating and functions, and essentially you start calculating this stuff. Let you see where you're going to. Okay, you start going into this kind of stuff. Okay, so you start going into more advanced physics. It's called Cosmology of the universe. So if you have a circle, this is the center. But look at this, the center's way off down here. Remember, this is explaining things. Okay? The reason it's off is because there's more to it. Because if we had a positive one, we know we must also have a negative one. Okay, so there's another one not seen here that's also negative. There's another 2 that's also positive. That's totally reverse of all of this. So instead of 9, I now need 18 to represent this system. Does everyone follow me? I have 6 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. So I need another 6, which is 12, to represent 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. I'm just saying this. I think it'll be lost, and that gives me 12, and there's nothing less than packets of 9. So if I had 1 9, now I got 2 9s. Okay, and there's 6 and 6 is 12. Okay, where's my other group of 6 to make 18? Okay, it happens to be this 396. I've said that in the physical world there's this duality. Okay, in the higher world there's also a duality, but the duality is to try and make this third dimensional reality a mirror or a reflection of this greater world. Yet all the time while we're trying to be a hologram of this greater world, we're at the same time created by it. So we are essentially tied to it. We are binded with it. And we are actually signs or proofs of its existence. And what happens is that the higher linear emanation of 9 becomes the third invisible force that does not allow anything else to be greater than it. Thus we can mirror God, but we'll never be greater than God. So what happens when 9 is a positive, 3 and 6 are both negative? Okay?
Okay, I see something.
Okay, it is the control, 3 and 6 are the result. Now in reality, just like I have 2 hands here, but it looks like 1, I really have 6 here. I don't really have 3 of the 396, I really have 6. Okay? And I'll show you how it works. We started with a negative 3. Here's our binary, flip-flop back and forth. We go negative, positive, negative. Our next positive is not going to be 9. We already got a positive 9. Our next positive is going to be the invisible 6 that you can't see behind it, that it's laid over. And that's going to be your positive. Okay? There's an invisible 9 under there. That's going to be your negative. Okay? And there's an invisible 3 over here, and that's going to be your positive. Whenever you end on a number, there's a second one hidden by it. You then give it the reverse polarity and go in the opposite direction. It's one of the principles of this math. So now you know there always must be a positive and negative to everything. We have that. And that it's not based on the fact of the duality of the positive and negative, but it's based on a trinary where you're going to have a positive and two negatives or a negative and two positives. Just as we had the 1, 4, 7, right here we're seeing, because in the third dimension it's a little bit more complicated. For the family number groups, the 1 and the 4 and the 7 are all positive at the same time. And in the 285s, they're all positive, they're all negative at the same time. How this coil works is these windings are wound in such a way to create that, sitting under here, that one wire, there's two wires here, that one wire, all of the positives are in one wire in a minute at the first stage. There's three stages. It's a firing stage. The first activation sequence of this coil, only the right wire is all positive, and that's your 147s. The second activation stage is all your left wire is all positive. It's activated. And now the first family number group, 147, the other wire is totally off. And then they're both off. None of them are positive. They're all neither positive. And the middle space in there becomes all positives, the 396. I'm just preparing you this. This is like advanced education. This is for what you're about to see, not what you've seen so far, to relate it to. As long as we're finishing up on this symbol, okay, I said I'd go to vortex motion.
I missed something, so let me just ask you one more time, even though you mentioned it. 1, 4, and 7 are always positive?
No.
So
There's
they
147s are always
They
positive,
flip, they reverse the polarity.
or 147s are always negative.
Right, I got you.
Okay.
So, but as soon as it creates a circuit,
It's a good
it
question.
goes to its opposite then.
This coil here, the negative 147s are all on the wire that the positive 825s are on. You don't have, and the positive 825s and the positive 147s all have the negative 825s. They're so separated from one another that's why only one wire is on at the other time. Because if both wires had the same family number groups on at the same time, then this coil wouldn't work. It'd have resistance. Okay? So thus, when the first wire is on, it's all just positive 147s. And on that wire, there's only negative 825s. When the second wire is on, it's just all positive 825s. And the negative 147s aren't on.
It would help maybe if you could draw a picture of the wires that you're pointing to on that so that we can understand.
There are two wires,
the
though,
place.
aren't there? Aren't there a total of just two different wires? And the windings?
That's right.
So there's a red wire, so to speak, and a blue wire.